this morning. We all know the mortgage crisis has made buying and selling homes nearly impossible for most people. Congresswoman Susan Davis is here with a former homeowner. Her name is Janedra Sykes to tell us about the Short Sale Transparency Act that will hopefully change all that. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
Thanks for being here. Let's start with you, Janedra. Tell us your story about when you were trying to sell your home.
Real simple. Like most Americans, I was laid off and I was put in a position to do some very tough financial decisions. And one of the things I wanted to do was a short sale process with my condo. And my experience with Fannie Mae was horrible. I had a realtor, Delisha Anderson, that worked really hard, found good, solid buyers that met what we thought all their conditions for a sale, and they still denied us after finding two really solid buyers for my condo. So I called the Congresswoman's office, just, for basic fairness, just tell us what the number is, to move this thing forward, and just meant brick wall after brick wall after brick wall. And so I am just so grateful to the Congresswoman for starting this act that just asks for basic fairness. I'm still outraged. You can tell,
I can tell. Well, a lot of people are. Congresswoman Davis, you heard this story. You've heard other stories about people that are trying to get above water, and this is one way that people can do it. But why are there so many problems, especially with Fannie Mae?
We don't know that, frankly. I actually got on the phone with the folks down there when we had Janedra's case, and there are many other cases that we've dealt with in our office. Actually, that's a big part of what members of Congress do. And I was surprised that they couldn't give me any idea so that we could help Janedra and we could help others as we move forward. This really, holds everybody at bay, and I think that's what the problem is here. What are the people don't even know the ground rules in some cases. It is a complex process, absolutely. Short sale is not easy, and people need to know that there are negotiations back and forth. But what we want to have happen in this Transparency Act is that people understand, what are the bottom lines here, and is there a possibility that these home buyers who my realtor has found for me, that they can move forward with this. What are they looking at? And this is, as Janedra said, she was in a condominium, and I think she can tell you that her job went sour and needed some help. And she'd been doing exactly what she was asked to do, paying her mortgage every month, and yet things just weren't working.
So many Americans going through the same thing, and realtors, they're trying to match up people who can now afford to buy in this environment, and those people are frustrated because they're going in, they're making an offer that they think is what the realtors and the seller can take, and then all of a sudden it all falls apart. So what do you hope this act
It's just
will
a
do?
very long process that people engage in, and what we're trying to do is move this market. If we want to reignite the American dream in this country, homeownership is at the heart of that. And we need to find ways. This is just one way. There are other ways. And I think that lowering interest rates is great, but that affects about 17% of homeowners today in that particular action that's being taken.
And because Fannie Mae is a government bank, isn't this more frustrating? I mean, we were supposed to get some sort of help through this whole crisis. Banks got bailed out, car dealers, and they got bailed out, or car companies. But it's the American people that are sitting with these properties.
And that was really frustrating. I mean, as a citizen, I expected that kind of behavior from the big banks, the short-term profits. But for a quasi-government agency that, my expectations as an American citizen is that you have my best interests at heart, not your stockholders. I mean, their behavior was just unconscionable. I mean, not being able, the Congresswoman is on the phone, not willing to give her an answer is this,
So you want answers for other people, the Short Sale Transparency Act. What can people do, or what do people need to do if they're in similar situations? Do you want to hear from constituents? Do you want to hear more about some of the hurdles that people have been having? Will that assist you in what you're trying to do to help?
Absolutely. We have been hearing from many of our constituents, and we have several staff members, and one in particular who's been dealing with these situations, and it's very tough. I can also say that my colleagues in the Congress, we have been meeting around this particular issue and having some pretty hard discussions with folks who are heading up these agencies, and we want to see that they are far more responsive to homeowners than they've been. And they're getting that message, but we're happy to hear from other folks as well.
Janedra, how does your story end at this point? Are you still trying to sell your condo?
No, I was pushed into foreclosure by Fannie Mae. You know, and I am going to be okay. You know, I have resources, I have a support system, and, you know, and my concern is that this is happening to a lot of people that don't have the support system that I had, that don't understand the process, that don't feel empowered enough to call their elected officials to really ask what was going on. I mean, there's so much misinformation out there, and there's so much abuse out there that is just really outrageous.
Right, it's like banks hold out the carrot, or Fannie Mae held out the carrot and then pulled it away just when you thought you were going to have a deal and be able to get out from underwater. I mean, it certainly was going to affect you, but it was the best scenario of many scenarios. Before I let you go, I want to talk, you had a symposium for exporting for local businesses. What can you tell us about that for people that are in business and have products that they think would be very viable overseas?
We had a great response to that. Most of the people who attended were very small business owners, under 20 employees. And I think that what they discovered is that there are a lot of agencies out there to help them, a lot of organizations out there that can give them good information. We went over the nuts and bolts, but more than that, I think just, you know, why they might want to look at this, because it helps their businesses. It means that there are more jobs because they're exporting more. It's a good thing for folks to do. Only about 1% of businesses actually do export, and San Diego is a great place to be thinking about this. And I think we got that message out.
Well, that's great. Very good to hear. Well, thank you for coming in, Congresswoman Davis. We'll follow up on this act, the Short Sale Transparency Act, and see how things move in Congress when it comes to that. Best of luck to you. Thank you for sharing your story, because I know so many people are impacted by this on all sides of it. People trying to buy, people trying to sell. It'd be great to see some answers. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right.